when you kind of ask them why they won't leave, they're like Odessa Mama. And you even see signs now around the city that kind of translate to don't mess with mama or mama will mess with you.
Throughout the show today, we've been talking about the 3 million refugees who've left Ukraine and where they're trying to travel to in Europe. But what about those who can't leave? What about the elderly who find themselves alone and unable to escape? Whitney Leaming is a journalist for the Washington Post, and she's been speaking to older Ukrainians in Odessa who've been left behind. Whitney, what's it like in Odessa at the moment? Do you get the feeling that the only people left are young men who can fight and the elderly who can't escape?
If I had been asked that before March 8th, I would have said absolutely. It really felt like a city of only old people and men. But the city has really come alive since International Women's Day in a way that I hadn't seen in other parts of the country since the war started. You are seeing a lot more women and even some children out on the streets in grocery stores, but there's just a huge percentage of elderly here in the city who are very committed to staying, either because of their love for the city or just feel that they cannot do it physically or emotionally, with all the challenges that trying to evacuate bring.
We're just about to talk to, or I have talked to him already, which is why I know what he says, a young man who escaped Mariupol, but he talks very poignantly about having to leave his grandmother behind. And a lot of people that I've spoken to on the ground in Ukraine have talked about their grandmothers or their grandparents being left behind. And from their comments, you get this real sense of stoicism. Do you think it's their age that's made them so fearless, or what's the impression you've got? Because you've been speaking to lots of elderly people.
Yeah, and even one, we've spent quite a bit of time with one of my colleagues' great aunt, lives in the city, and her children have tried to get her to leave. My colleagues tried to get her great aunt to leave, and she's refusing. This is her home. She's lived here for her whole life, and she doesn't want to leave. And a lot of the other people we've spoken to can remember when the Nazis marched on the city, and um, they want to stick it out. I think there's a big hope that because of this city's connections to old imperial Russia, that it won't be as hard hit. And they're kind of leaning on the best of saying, this is our country, this is our city, and we're here whether it's attacked or not.
Is that a widely held view that it won't be so badly hit?
I think there's a lot of hope. I think as we've seen, the city was really, when we got here about a week and a half ago, um, it was really locked down. People were staying inside, but the city's kind of opened up. And I think, like, as other cities, the longer it goes without being attacked, people are trying to resume a little bit of a normal life, trying to make a living. People have been without work for almost 2.5 weeks now and are really struggling to get by. So people are trying to live their lives while they can, and but there's also rumors flying all the time about what the warships off the coast are doing, what's going down in Mykolaiv, and will that, make the city more likely to be attacked sooner than later. There's always something, a little chatter going on both sides.
And what about in terms of the elderly people we've been talking about? Um, if their younger family members have left, who's there to take care of them? Are they receiving help and support? Are they able to, I don't know, go and withdraw their pensions in order to pay for foodstuffs? How is life working for them?
Yeah, a lot of people that we have spoken to either have like one or two family members who are continuing to check in on them or move them into their homes. But there's also a very large contingent of volunteers who, you know, have stepped up to help fill the gap, to take care of the elderly, not just dropping off food for them, but also hanging out and talking. It's a very lonely time, as you can imagine. a lot of people are stuck in their houses, especially the elderly who can't go up and down stairs every time a siren goes off here. So volunteers, it also, when we've been speaking with them, we're saying how much it means to them to be able to give something. They're also stuck here, waiting for this attack. And being able to help their neighbors and help the elderly in their community has given them a sense, a purpose during a very like uncertain time.
There's also this idea of a Mama Odessa that you explore. A lot of old people have been holding on to it. Can you explain it for our listeners?
Yeah, there a lot of people when we're talking to, when you kind of ask them why they won't leave, they're like Odessa Mama, and you even see signs now around the city that kind of translate to "Don't mess with Mama" or "Mama will mess with you." There is a deep love and character to the city, and it's really reflected in the people, and they are very, very committed to the city and think the city will again like protect them. And it's there's an interesting sense of humor here, and it comes through even during some of the dark times.